What's good, Panther Nation? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands. I am your favorite armchair GM, CJ.
And I'm your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony. One time.
Deal. All right, y'all. Panthers fell to the Cowboys 33-10. And I think it's safe to say, if as an organization we haven't hit rock bottom yet, we damn near close. Let's get it, y'all. Tony, cousin, how you feeling today, man? Talk to me.
Hey man, it is what it is at this point in time. I have no feelings right now. I have no
Okay.
expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is what it is. You know, each week, just roll with the punches. Hey, I'm gonna be a fan regardless if we're 1-15 or
Mm-hmm.
15-1. It's just one of those things. There's not too much you can say about where we at right now. Everybody know we're at the bottom of the league. We're in the dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
I feel nothing. To answer
Mm.
your question, I feel nothing. How about you, Cuz?
Well, one thing that I hope everybody knows is that we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those post notification bells so you know when our videos come out. We appreciate all the love and support. To answer your question, I like I've been saying the last couple videos. I'm still making another burner email. I'm still signing up for another 1 week free trial of the Carolina Panthers, hoping that by the end of the week, they'll do something to make me want to sign up for like a couple months or maybe a year. And like I'll be a fan regardless. But I'm just trying to make a way of uh, trying to make this season something other than what it
Brother,
is. Trying to
I
make a
feel you. It's
joke about it,
hard.
man. Cause this shit is depressing, man. It is.
It is.
It is
It
depressing.
is. It is.
It's it,
It
it, it
is,
it's
man.
it's bad. It is bad, and it's bad all around. And you know, as much let me see, as much heat as Bryce is taking, okay, and I'm going to stand on this no matter what. It is a team sport, okay.
Right.
There are 10
Right.
other people out there on the field with Bryce on offense. There's another 11 Carolina Panthers playing defense. Okay.
Yes,
When
sir.
Bryce makes a mistake, he deserves to get criticized, ridiculed, everything for the mistakes he makes. But, you know, if you let part of our fan base tell it, Bryce is the only one out there playing, and he's making all the mistakes by himself. Okay. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to sound, because everybody's like, oh, well, making excuses, making excuses. No, it's not making excuses. Okay. When the man does something wrong, I ain't got no problem with nobody talking shit. Give him all the smoke, tell him what he did wrong. But my only issue is that everybody thinks that Bryce Young, for whatever reason, has set this franchise back, for the next 30 years. And we traded away our first round picks for the next 30 years or the next decade, as I like to see in the comments. So
Right.
but yeah, but me personally, I don't think all hope is lost. All hope is lost for this season because this season
Oh
is a
yeah, no
wrap.
doubt. Yeah, it's a wrap.
this season is a wrap. But for the future, I don't think the future is lost. But that's just my opinion. I wanted to get that out the way first. Okay. So Tony, now what about this last game? Just what did you take from this last game?
Really, I didn't go into this game thinking we had a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I didn't have too many positives that I was thinking going to this game. I was
Mm-hmm.
more curious to see what the play calling was going to look like now that Frank Wright took it back from Thomas Brown.
Okay.
And you saw some things that was a little different. We
Mm-hmm.
saw a little bit of the power run game that we witnessed last year under Steve Wilkes that we had been calling for praying about, writing our pen pals about, well, whatever form of communication you could think of. We put it out there, on full display, let it be known this year. And listen. When it came to the running game, we ran the ball a total of 23 times for 110 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Chuba had 11 carries. Miles Sanders had 10. They each were averaging 4.5 to 5.5 yards per carry. So I understand that we wasn't gonna run it 40 times a game. But here's the thing: if the running game was working tremendously better than the passing game, why wouldn't you keep running the ball? I know we under a different regime and everything last year, but when I look back to last year, Steve Wilkes in the game, especially when we played Atlanta, we ran the ball 44 times
Mm-hmm.
for over 200 yards. And you know what else we did? We controlled the clock, we kept their offense off the field, and we won the game.
Exactly.
So I understand that it may not be Frank Wright's cup of tea, the power run game, north south, smash mouth. I get that. But evidently you brought into it a little bit because you utilized that this past Sunday and it was effective. So
Mm-hmm.
why not stick with what's working for you? That was my only gripe. You should have stuck with the run game because we was winning that battle up front when it came to the run game. So I think that's what he meant in the press conference when he said that we were controlling the line of scrimmage. That comment was kind of a glass half full because the thing about it is you control the line of scrimmage on one aspect of the game that you did not lean on.
Thank you.
So in totality, no, you did not control the line of scrimmage. Because when you look at the 7 sacks, 16 quarterback pressures, and I don't know how many hits. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was just it, it was just ridiculous, man. So yeah, that was the main thing. I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but that was the main thing. I wanted to see what kind of changes Frank Wright was going to make in the offense.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that, and I just wish that we would have leaned on it a little more than what we did because it was working for us. But what did you see?
I just wanted
What
to tell
was your
you.
hope?
I just wanted to tell you. I've gotten used to your tangents by now, so don't even apologize for them. You know, you do at least two an episode, so it's all good.
You know what? You know what?
All right. Now
I digress.
back to me and my thoughts. Let me tell you, this game now, the defense. Um, I think the defense played good overall, but that one drive going into halftime, what was it? Three penalties on third down that cost us, and we could have either one held them to a field goal or two. I think when Dak was running for that third down and 19 or whatever it was, and Amari Barno decided to hit him in the head while he was sliding, that could have potentially been Dallas punting, to us, and maybe we could have ran out
Yes,
the half, and
that
then it would
that
have
one could have been
been,
a punt.
yeah, what would have been
Yes,
10-3 at the halftime. Okay.
yes,
Or, at worst, we could have gone down 13-3 at halftime. But no, we ended up going down 17-3 because you had that penalty. Then you had Deshaun Williams. I don't understand what in God's name he was doing. He saw, I think it was CD Lamb on the ground. Turpin was just standing there, and he decides to
just
take his big
standing there.
ass over there and just push him over clearly after the whistle was blown. Okay.
Yeah,
So, my big knock on the defense, they really played undisciplined football, especially with the
very
penalties. Okay, they play
very
undisciplined
well.
football. I also saw a comment on Facebook where somebody said that the defense gave up because they were constantly on the field and the offense couldn't do anything. Now, mind you, I do agree that the offense was very, lethargic, very slow this game. But I replied and I told the person, I said, you do remember the Panthers had a 17 play, almost 9-minute drive in the third quarter. The defense was on the
Yeah.
sidelines the entire time. As soon as the ball was, Dallas got the ball back, they drove right down the field in about 7 to 8 plays and scored. And that's when Tony Pollard,
Right.
ran over Bell and reached over in the end zone. So I don't want to hear this. Oh well, they were on the field too much because the offense, couldn't do anything. When the offense did something, they turned right around and let Dallas come right back down the field and score on them. So
You're
that
right.
was a whole momentum changer right there too. All right. On offense, I do believe, like you said, when I saw Bryce Young under center, I promise you, I wanted to pick up the phone and call you and be like, see, I told you they had them damn plays somewhere in that, because we talked about this on the preview. I think it was either the preview or the recap of the previous game. And
Yeah.
I said, you've got, I know he does the zone scheme or whatever, but you've got to have those big formation plays where your quarterback is under center, he hikes the ball, turns around, hands off to the running back. You gotta have them somewhere. And I'll be damned if Frank didn't reach in the bottom of that damn playbook and pull those things out. He ran. Bryce Young came out of center. He even did play action, taking the ball from under
Right.
center. Okay,
Yeah.
play action, and it actually worked. It actually looked good. But there was one drive, and I want to say it was either I think it was in the second quarter, and they drove all the way down. When we got the field goal, they drove all the way down the field. Okay, running game going. Even some of the running plays out of the shotgun were working. Okay, they lined up on the center, they turned around, they handed the ball off. The offensive linemen, they were doing what they're good at. Okay, blocking.
Preach.
Just straight up
Preach.
man to man open holes. They were pulling, doing all this stuff. Miles Sanders was getting off. Chuba Hubbard was getting off. Then we got in the red zone, and to me, and it's just to me, they got cute with it again. They went back to that damn pistol formation and that zone slide blocking crap that they were trying to do. And then you see in that first
Wide
play,
zone.
yeah, you see in that first play, they hiked the ball and did that shit. And I want to say that Miles Sanders was probably looking for the cutback on that play, but I guarantee you every lineman from Dallas was behind the Panthers offensive lineman. So there was no cutback. Like Sanders had nowhere to go. Like absolutely
Right.
nowhere to go. My thing is I would have turned around and I would have kept doing what got us down there, and I would have lined up, heavy set, and run the damn ball, because the thing was Dallas was not stopping the run.
No, there wasn't.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but at that particular point in the game, we were teeing off on Dallas and we were running the ball.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
and especially when Michael Parsons wasn't in the game, we really was
mm-hmm.
taking advantage of them in
Yeah,
the run game. We
yeah,
definitely was taking advantage of him in the run game. But it seemed like to me, when he wasn't in the game, would have been a great time for you to try to take advantage of the passing game, because that would have, by him being off the field,
mm-hmm.
that would taken some pressure off of Bryce Young, from somebody getting home, which Michael Parsons seemed like he was doing every time,
Mm-hmm.
Bryce dropped back to pass the ball.
And
You know
and
what I
you
mean?
know,
So
the crazy thing is, Michael Parsons got most of his sacks lined up in front of Bradley Bozeman. Now,
Brandon Bozeman, Chandler Zavala.
yeah, if y'all look back at the game, okay, and on third, and they were doing this damn near every third down against Carolina. You got your tackles and your defensive ends; they were set out wide. Okay, there had to have been about 3 or 4 yards of space in between the two tackles, and there you got Michael Parsons sitting right there. And it didn't really matter who was in front of him. It didn't matter whether Bozeman got a hand on him. It didn't matter whether Zavala got a hand on him. It didn't matter whether Corbett got a hand on him. He was Dipsy doing all of them and getting to Bryce Young. Now, not on every
Yeah.
single play, but it worked. There was another play where DeMarcus Lawrence, he whipped around his tackle and pushed Bradley Bozeman down to South Park. Okay, those of y'all from Charlotte, y'all know what I'm talking about. He hit Bradley Bozeman so hard he knocked him down the South Park. And then his defensive tackle took out let me see, I think that was Corbett, and then when Bryce
Corbett.
stepped up, there was DeMarcus Lawrence for the sack.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so my thing is running the ball is what they're good at right now. You've got to run the ball more, but you have got to use your running schemes and your formations that work for this offensive line. Okay? They're not
Right.
good at this wide zone blocking scheme trying to run the ball. And Frank just seems like he is just stubborn. He is just pig-headed, and he is going to do whatever in his playbook, and he is determined to make this crap work without making any adjustments. Because it's like in his head, I know this works. I know that I've had success with it. Well, my friend, you are
Right.
not having any success with it right now. So something's got to give and something's got to change. And I think the sooner that he figures that out, the better. So
I
but
agree with you.
but yeah, man.
I
But you
agree
know
with
what?
you.
But that is a great way to segue into what I wanted to talk about next. Okay.
Okay.
So, Tony, who is gonna get the boot first? All right. You think it's gonna be Frank, or you think it's gonna be Scott? And in part two, who do you think deserves to get the boot first? Okay, so who do you think will, and who do you think deserves to first?
God, that for to me, and I'm just saying this is for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a loaded question right now.
Oh yeah, full clip.
And because when I look at it, and this is just me looking at it in its full totality,
Mm-hmm.
you got Frank Wright in his first year, got a rookie quarterback. I don't think there's ever been a time in the NFL that I can remember to where a head coach who just drafted his rookie quarterback, especially first overall pick, is fired within the first year or that first year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall that happening too many. I don't ever recall that happening. If it has, I don't remember.
Okay.
But I also look at it as this is Scott Fitterer's first year in control
Mm-hmm.
of the roster. When I say that, I mean where he has the final say of the pieces that we add in free agency and in the draft, and being responsible for putting this roster together.
Okay.
To me, now this is just my opinion. I know Panther Nation feel a lot different. I don't think right now either one of them deserves to be fired because I don't think there's enough. I don't think they have been given enough time to make this thing work.
Okay.
Now I know they're again Panther Nation. I know is we know we are impatient. We are impatient, not just a fan base, but just as in basic humanity. We just impatient people, and we
Mm-hmm.
think that everything is supposed to be changed and fixed overnight. Well, it just don't happen that way. There's a process. You know what I mean?
Agree.
As hard as it is to say that right now, and as hard as it is to root for your team right now and win 1-9, it gives you no hope. They give you nothing to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
But the process is the process, and I just think personally, as much as I might want to say somebody got to go, I think the smart thing for David Tepper to do is allow the process to play out, and he has to give these guys time, because if you just changing head coach and GM every year because you're not getting immediate success, you
Mm-hmm.
just may not get that success immediately that you're looking for, because you're not giving time for anything to happen. That's just like planting the seed in the ground. You got to water it and give it time to grow. Just because you want that damn tomato plant to grow in 3 days, well, it ain't gonna come in 3 days. You may have to wait 3 weeks or a month. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like there's a process. So To answer your questions, I don't think either one of them should be fired right now or even at the end of the season.
Oh, now let me ask you another question. Do you think that the success of D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud in Houston is going to weigh in on how long Scott and Frank stay? Because Ryans is the first year coach. Stroud
Hmm.
was the second overall pick behind Bryce, you know, and um, most of Panther Nation believes, and I don't understand how they believe this, but they believe that if you take CJ Stroud and Bryce Young and swap them right now, okay, and I'm talking about in the middle of the season, where we at right now, you swap them right now, that CJ Stroud comes in here and makes this team better. Okay, it makes this team better. They think that if we would have had CJ Stroud, we'd probably had about 5 or 6 wins already this season. Okay, and I beg to differ because I always say that it's a completely different organization, completely different head coach, completely different offensive coordinator. They run a completely different scheme, and they have a completely different roster. Okay.
But I have one question to your question.
Mm-hmm.
To add to your question,
All right.
is CJ Stroud gonna bring his offensive line with him?
No, no, no. We just swapping quarterback for quarterback because
No.
what I have been told, what I have been told by God knows how, because I'm always with the shits on Facebook and on YouTube in the comment section. You know that
Right,
I'm
right.
always with the shit, so I'm always arguing with people I don't know from a can of paint all day long. But especially on Facebook, I have been told that they can guarantee me that CJ Stroud swap them him for Bryce Young, that they would guarantee me that we would start winning games by just taking swapping those two. Right now, no other changes, no nothing. With our same roster, Frank calling the plays the way he's doing, the defense playing the way they playing, we'd have instant success.
Yeah. Well, what I would say to those people is, okay, cool. Okay, you win. Yeah.
I have
That that
I
that's
have a
that's
hard
what I
time
would say.
saying that. I like to argue with them. But
Yeah.
now and back to my question. Do you think Stroud Texans have continued success? You think that's going to weigh in on David Tepper a little bit and make him pull that trigger early and be like, you know what, Frank, I made a mistake. We're gonna go ahead and part ways.
No, I don't. I believe that it weighs into the overall picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that will weigh into the deciding factor of whether he decides to keep Frank Wright or not.
Okay.
Because if you look at it in its totality, again, the word totality,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at Houston, the one common denominator that Houston has that we don't have is offensive line. When we went to this season, we felt like our offensive line, based off of last year, was a top 10 offensive line. We went to the season thinking we had a better offensive line than what the Houston Texans had.
Mm-hmm.
We felt like all we were was just a quarterback away, and we can drop a quarterback in behind the line that we currently have, the way that's currently constructed,
Mm-hmm.
and that we would be better than what we were last year. Well, that hasn't been the case. Our line is not better than Houston offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly and truly, our skill position, the wide receivers, meaning the wide receivers,
Yeah.
aren't better than the Houston Texans. So just those two things alone, right there
Mm-hmm.
is the difference in the two
Yeah.
between the Texans and the Panthers.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, now
What about you? What do you think? Do you think that he would that this would play into his decision on whether he would pull the trigger or not on Frank Wright?
I ain't gonna lie to you, cuz I think it does. Because you gotta remember this is the same owner who has the Charlotte FC team, the soccer team, MLS. All right.
Right.
He fired their coach after making the playoffs. So I don't think, you can sit here and like I be arguing with the people, with certain what you can be certain. Let me say this: I don't think you can sit here and be certain that he's going to do it one way or the other. So I'll say this: I think it would surprise me if Frank Wright makes it the whole season if we continue on this current trajectory that we're on now. Okay, it would surprise me. It won't surprise me if in a couple of weeks he's gone. Okay,
Mm.
it will not
It wouldn't
surprise me.
surprise me neither. It wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
surprise me neither. But I don't think it should happen.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that.
yeah. But in this situation, and I know this is Scott's first year of being like a GM instead of what he was under Matt Rule. It was just like he was just kind of sitting there like, okay, like
Hmm.
you got it, player. Like I'm just
He
kind of
was
here
being the
getting paid.
puppet.
Yeah, exactly. Now, do I think that with that being said, I still think they messed up with the draft. Outside of Bryce Young, okay, I still don't think we messed up with Bryce Young. Okay, I still think there's a
No,
lot
I
of
don't feel that way neither.
circumstances that that are surrounding him that we got to improve on. But you look at Jonathan Mingo, and nothing against Mingo, even though here in a second I got a clip that I want to show that's not favorable for him. Okay. But
Right.
Mingo, and then you got DJ Johnson. They traded a pick to jump up and get him, and DJ Johnson has done Jack Diddle all year. Okay. Zavala, what looked like a great pick when it happened. Zavala has turned out to be complete garbage juice. Okay. And again, like I always
Yeah.
say, I'm not talking about this man personally. I'm just talking about what I've seen on the field. He has been garbage juice. Okay.
Right.
Jamie
Exactly.
Jamie Robinson has popped up in a couple of games, and I think he's done much of nothing. All right.
Pretty much.
So I don't think that Scott did anything in this draft to say, well, here's my case for why I should stick around. All right. And I can kind of say that in free agency too, but I think these two are tied together. I think if one goes, the other one has to go. All right. You got Scott, who had a iffy draft. You got Frank here, who's running this playbook in this scheme that does not fit this team, and it seems like he's hell bent on not changing what he does because he just wants what he knows and what his playbook is to work, and he's just not willing to change. He's just not willing to
Right.
adjust. He sees that his offensive line is very capable of run blocking when you put them in the right position, right play calling. Okay. But then, like I
Right.
say, when we get in the red zone, then you want to get cute and go back to the shit that's not working. And then here we are, we can't score any points. So
No,
I
you're
think
right.
if one goes, I think there's a tether to the other one. He gone too. That's just my opinion. And yes, I think if CJ Stroud keep winning and they keep doing what they doing, I think Tepper, that's going to be weighing on his mind as well.
Mm.
I could be wrong, but you can see, like, just like everybody's telling me, you see Bryce Young, you see he ain't it, you see he can't do this, you see he can't do that. All right, you see Frank Wright, his playbook is shit. You see Frank Wright, he does not adjust. You see Frank Wright, he does not put his players in positions to take advantage of what they're good at. Okay, so as much as
But
y'all keep telling me y'all see Bryce Young this and that, y'all look at Frank Wright too. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. I hear you with all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go back, and I will always go back to this one thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
You can't open up the playbook. You can't try these various exotic schemes or plays or throw the
Mm-hmm.
ball downfield, whatever you want to do when your offensive line ain't shit. When your offensive line don't give you time to hit a man
Mm-hmm.
downfield, when they don't give you time to uh hit a man in an intermediate route. I'm talking on a consistent basis. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about here and there. I'm talking about consistently allow your quarterback to drop back, give him time and the protection he
Mm-hmm.
needs to complete the ball downfield. because there was a stat that came up on Twitter a few days ago or last week, I think it was, and it said when Bryce Young has time to throw the ball and he's protected,
Mm-hmm.
he completes 80% of his balls.
Mm-hmm.
He can pause. He completes 80% of his passes. Okay, under pressure, he completing like 49%.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that's enough proof in the pudding for me to show that one, when you give him time, this is what can happen.
Yeah.
Now you need to translate that time into being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, and there's no reason to believe that it can happen, they can't be consistent with it.
Yeah.
So we can't get into all this other stuff that we think Bryce should do, or we think Frank Wright should do, or we need to do this to do that. That don't mean nothing if your offensive line is not giving the quarterback time to execute these plays.
Mm-hmm.
It just can't happen.
Yeah, I get you.
It just
And
just not gonna happen.
and I will counter that by saying you saw what happened with the offensive line this past game against Dallas. Okay, wherever he decided, and I ain't talking about no exotic plays. Okay, I'm talking about
Hmm.
two tight ends, running back, quarterback under center, hikes the ball. He turns around. He hands that damn ball off to his running back. His offensive linemen are teeing off on the defenders in front of them. They are opening holes up and they're running through those holes. Okay,
Right.
that's all I'm saying. If that's what's working, he needs to implement more of that, because the thing is, if you can establish the run game, it will open up things in the passing game, because when they're not scared of your run game, they are sitting back and daring you to throw the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all
That
I'm
that is
saying.
true.
That's all I'm saying.
That is
I'm
true.
not saying he got to revamp his entire playbook, but as you can see from the game, oh, he got a back page in that playbook where he was like, oh shit, I had to go back and find these damn plays. You know, two fans in the stands telling me I got to run the ball some more. Now I know he ain't listening to us. I'm just, I'm just saying that, folks. But my thing is, you saw it. You saw it, and then
Right.
when we got down to the red zone, he wanted to get cute with it again, because it's almost like he's like, all right, I ran the ball. Now I'm gonna go back to the shit that I got my playbook circle, and I'm gonna make this shit work. And you know what, Frank? It's not working.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not working.
I agree.
It's
Now
not
I
working.
agree with you on that because that's something I spoke about earlier. Is that it's like we had established the run. Why not lean on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm 100% with you as far as the run game.
Yeah.
But when you start trying to drop back and pass, whether the quarterback is in the shotgun, under center, 3 step
Mm-hmm.
drop, 5 step drop, it doesn't even matter. Whenever Bryce Young drops back to pass, 2/3 of the time he is under pressure and getting sacked,
I
getting
agree.
hit. There's no consistency up front in pass protection that
Mm-hmm.
will allow us to have any type of passing game on a
Okay.
consistent basis.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tony, that brings us to our next little part here. I wanted to bring up this clip of the pick six that Bryce threw versus Dallas. He threw the two through to Deron Bland. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, mind you, already got the thing going here. But let me get it back to the beginning. All right. And we said this about a similar play during week one when Hayden Hurst, when he was running his route, and he kind of, faded off his route a little bit, and Jesse Bates ended up picking off Bryce Young. And you mentioned that if
Right.
he would have stayed on his current trajectory on that route where he was going, that may not have been what happened. And I believe that that's the same thing that we are seeing here too. Okay. So I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and hit play here. All right. Mingo comes down in motion. Bryce snaps the ball. Okay. Now, for everybody out there, if you look and you see where Mingo is right now, he's running on the 30. Okay. Now, if he continues on that current path and stays on that 30-yard line, I do believe this is a different play. Okay. But what happens is Mingo, from this point, right where I got it paused at, to when Bryce throws the ball and it's picked off, Mingo starts fading up here. Okay, Mingo is damn near past the 32. Now look at Bland. Bland is right here. He stays on his current route, and then right about here, he kind of comes over, undercuts him just a little bit to make that play. All right, let me get rid of that. Go back a little bit. Then y'all watching it in real time here. Now look. Now y'all see where Mingo is? He was at the 30. Okay,
Right.
look where Bland is at when he picks that ball off. Rewind. Right. Bland is at the 31. Okay.
And Mingo at the 32.
Yeah. And Mingo is at the 32. If he would have kept on his same line, down the 30-yard line, not saying that would be a complete pass. It might be incomplete. You know, he might have got a hand on it, but you get what I'm saying? And I only bring this up is because I keep hearing people say, "Oh, well, Bryce is throwing pick six. He ain't got no arm. You know, that's why he can't get the ball because he ain't got no arm." Now, if you want to go back to the Colts game, okay, he underthrew his receiver. I think he underthrew Mingo on the same
Yeah.
type of play, and Kenny Moore picked it off, took it to the house. That was all on Bryce. That was his fault. For everybody that's out there getting on him, yes, that was his fault. Okay. The second pick six, they were trying to set up a screen for Miles Sanders. He completely overthrew Miles Sanders right into Kenny Moore's hands. He took it back to the house. That was Bryce's fault all day, every
Right.
day. Okay, but I just
Right.
want to bring this up too, because sometimes it's not all on the quarterback. Like, your receivers have to run their routes, and they have to run them crisply. Okay, they have to be crisp routes. I'm not talking crisp right now, but you get what I'm saying. But if Mingo would have held his line on that 30-yard line, I think at the very worst that would have been an incomplete pass. Okay, because
Right. Exactly.
as you can see right here, Bland is at the 31 and caught that ball. Mingo was over here, and then he ends up over here. You know,
Yeah.
and then after he picks it off, I kind of question his effort. You know, it's trying to make a play, because he really, like, he was just done at this play. And then look at Tommy Tremble. Look at where Tommy Tremble is at right here behind the play. So when I hit play, Mingo, he just kind of like, whatever. Look at Tommy Tremble. Tommy Tremble follows him all the way to the damn end zone. Okay, and then, like I said, right here, this is where he starts drifting off. Bland got him. Because, like I said, that ball was not underthrown. Okay, that was not
No.
underthrown by any means.
Cause look how Deron Bland had to stretch out for that ball.
Yeah.
Hell of a catch, hell of a play, but he had to, like, really, like, he stretched out to catch that.
Mm-hmm. He sure did. He
Yeah.
sure did. And then this part right here, I wanted to show everybody, because, like I said, everybody was like, "Oh, well, Bryce Young, he ain't got no arm. His arm strength. Look at that ball right there. Okay, look at that ball. This is not me over
And
here. This is part of the film from the game. But look at that ball. That ball was not underthrown, Tony. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't
no,
believe that ball was underthrown at all.
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't underthrown.
Okay, like you said, hey, look at this. Like you said, watch how far he had to stretch to get that ball.
Yeah. Now, don't hit anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you take Deron Bland out that picture, for, however you just made him disappear,
Mm-hmm.
look at Mingo and look at where the ball's at. The ball, if Deron Bland wasn't there, that ball hit Mingo in stride.
Mm-hmm.
That's not behind Mingo.
Mm-mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But I like I said, I just wanted to put that out there because, when Bryce does mess up, everybody should give him the smoke. But I don't think that
but,
this particular play was all Bryce's fault.
but people gonna hate. You got people out there they just don't like Bryce Young, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Bryce Young was your choice for quarterback. Well, guess what? He wasn't my choice. He wasn't CJ's choice, but he is
He's
the
here now.
choice. And you should ride with your quarterback for your team, regardless whether you wanted him or not. And kicking the man down every time a mistake happens, or you think it's his fault when it probably isn't his fault,
Yeah.
or there's other circumstances surrounding that contributes to his play,
Mm-hmm.
because he's not out there blocking for himself. He ain't out there catching his own passes. He's not out there running his own routes. He's not doing any of that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, CJ, there's some things that you can definitely say that Bryce Young needs to tighten up. He needs to get better at,
Indeed.
and he needs to take blame for. I get
Mm-hmm.
all that. But all this that most people, or I ain't gonna say most people, a lot of people are putting on his plate, putting on his shoulders, and saying he's the reason why X, Y, or Z. We should have never took him. They want to talk about his size. They want to talk about his height. They want to talk about his arm strength. None of that is. All of that is null and void.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is null and void, because we have seen that he has plenty of arm strength.
Oh yeah.
May not be as strong as Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not as strong as Will Levis. It may not be as strong as CJ Stroud, but he definitely can make all the throws. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen it happen. We've seen him do it. We've seen him taking big hits. We've seen his durability.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, it's just people that just out there that just don't like CJ. I mean, that just doesn't like Bryce Young, and they're gonna find any and every little thing
Mm-hmm.
to throw dirt on his name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it
Yep.
is what it is when it comes to that.
It sure is. Because the thing I keep hearing is, well, when Joe Burrow took his team to the Super Bowl and he had the worst offensive line in the league, that may be the case. But Joe Burrow also had Jamar Chase, he had T. Higgins, he had Tyler Boyd, and he had a run game in Joe Mixon. And then I keep hearing about how Sam Howell. Now, mind you, Sam Howell has been sacked 51 times this year. I did not know he'd been sacked that many damn
Yeah,
times. But Sam Howell also has Eric Bieniemy as his offensive coordinator. Okay.
yeah,
And for those of you that don't think that matters, hey, cool. Me personally, I definitely think that matters. All right.
it
I
does.
don't think Frank Wright in this offense is suited for the talent and their skill sets that we have now. And like I said before, he is stubborn. He's not going to change. And I do think that's going to ultimately lead to him not being here too much. But now
Okay.
mind you, that's not what I want. I would love for Frank Wright to be able to make this work, turn this thing around, and then we get back in the right direction, and then we can all get back to being, one happy Panther Nation family. Because right now we are divided. We are split. I mean, let me tell
Truly,
you,
truly.
right now, I promise you, I call this the worst fan base in football right now. And if you don't agree with me, hey, it's what it is. But we are definitely divided, and I think that we are divided for reasons that shouldn't divide us. But that's just my 2 cents.
I agree.
But Tony,
I agree.
anything else you got to say before, or you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, cuz that no, not really. No.
Okay. But hey, simple, plain to the point. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Two Fans in the Stands. We appreciate all the love and support. We are still approaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those post notification bells so you know when our videos come out. All right. Now we're 1-9. We're hit the bottom of the barrel. We hadn't hit. We hitting soon. But I'm gonna
Yes,
take
sir.
y'all out
We
like I
there.
like I always take y'all out. Okay. Number one, y'all be good. Number two, y'all be safe. And number three, Panther Nation. Most importantly, all right, keep pounding, y'all.